And welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Falls, joined by Big Mike Fesi, Senator, right here from our area. And in case you haven't noticed or weren't watching, Laura Ingraham had a news piece late last week and brought Big Mike on national news. And it all stemmed from, of course, it's the sex reassignment surgery issue that came up. And, it just had a lot of, ands, ifs, or buts on it, which way a lot of people would go. But let's set the scene first with Senator Fesi. And this is something you brought up before. So this year wasn't the first time you brought up the fact that minors really should wait because of various reasons. So bring us up to speed. And when originally had you brought this up?
2 years ago, two sessions prior to this one, I had brought it up, and it wasn't that well known of what the problems were that I had dug in through some previous information I had got on how serious it was going to get. And so when I brought it 2 years ago, it was a great turnout against me, which broke the record in the Senate record for as red cards for against something in committee, and I had 402 red cards that day in committee, and that's it was kind of tough to not know that I didn't have that great of support at the time on how much it is greatly moved today and got a lot more support.
And probably got more support, if I could be candid, because the governor is on the way out. And I guess people felt a little more bold as to how they would vote, you think?
Well, I think it just, the knowledge wasn't there. I just don't think enough people knew the traumatic situations that this causes children once they're in their 20s. Actually, it was probably a good thing for me to help win this thing this round, is because I got so many emails and so much data coming in on how the children that did it at a young age and now in their 20s, whether is at any age, or more susceptible to suicide than they are while they're a child. And actually, some numbers I've seen is 19 times greater for suicide after the fact.
And so what I want to, they had an override on this, and I want to roll this in because this is, I've been on the news desk for quite some time, and I've never really heard something quite this bold. I mean, I've heard lawmakers called a lot of things over the years, but I've never really heard something that went to this extreme. So let's roll this in right now, once again, courtesy of the Laura Ingraham program on Fox News, and we'll come back and we'll let the governor discuss what you're about to hear.
Louisiana, lawmakers standing up for parental rights. Well, they're overriding a veto by the governor on so-called gender-affirming care for minors. I mean, sex changes, puberty blockers, and other treatments that will now be banned for minors. And that is a win. But how did the tolerant left react to all of this? Well, as expected.
I just wanted to say congratulations to our state senator, Big Mike Fesi, and that fat moron voted to make things worse for people who are already suffering. You fat you did not produce any evidence to support the claims you made about people being harmed by transgender care. So you big fat-headed I can't wait to read your name in the obituary. I will make a martini made from the tears of butthurt conservatives when we put your on the ground. You fat, useless piece of you. I hope you have a terrible day. Go yourself.
That's incredible. When you listen to it, just not only the choice of words, but the amount of fervor that Marcus Venable used. Did you have an association with this guy prior to this?
No, I never heard of him. And when he says, when we put you in the ground, to me, that's a true out threat. I mean, because there's only one way you go when you go in the ground.
Mm-hmm. And he was associated with LSU. Have you made any calls to LSU, and what's been your conversation about this?
Well, President Tate of LSU called me, and we had a good discussion. And I tell you, I have a lot of respect for him because our discussion kind of really told that he was going to take care of business and try to clean up a lot of the stuff around LSU if he finds any more. But he's going to be strong-willed in making sure that things like this become a thing of the past.
And I think, just to speak on behalf of free speech, I think you would agree, and most people would agree, we all want free speech. We want people to be able to express themselves. But some things really sort of get the attention of everybody. And if people want to say things, you elected, you have tough skin. But like you said, the component of was it a threat or was it not a threat, that's when it really becomes an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why they got laws against hollering fire while you're in a cinema, because people could get hurt over it. So you still have free speech, but it depends on how you use that speech and if you're using it as a threat or to cause harm to someone.
Yeah. Let's do this. I want to talk more about this, and we'll go more in depth on this, but we're going to take a short break here on Bayou Time. This was an incredible recording that Senator Mike Fesi had on his message, and we're going to talk more about this because it's been garnering a lot of attention, and it's been garnering a lot of national attention. We'll be right back. Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. All right, welcome back. We're once again talking with Senator Mike Fesi about a message he received from Marcus Venable, who was teaching at LSU as a graduate assistant type situation. And, I know, Senator, as we turn back to you, that you've talked to university, they've made it pretty clear that everyone's entitled to their right for free speech, but that allegedly they feel that Mr. Venable crossed the line here.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's something that, like you said, us as politicians, we can take different things all day long. But when it comes to this position, you kind of wonder how dangerous is this?
Mm-hmm. Now, he asserted in so many words that by this particular law, it would cause or create a situation where more people would commit suicide. But you told me you had facts and figures that you had compiled saying that if they do get the sex change early and later they realize they made a mistake and they can't go back, that creates an avenue for suicide.
Yeah, like I said, I'd ran this thing 2 sessions prior. And a lot of the data I had got back showed that the later, once they've got into the mid-20s and late 20s, and they wanted to come back to what they were when they were born, that the suicide rate's like 19 times in some readings we're finding. I had many of reports from overseas in the Europe area, because they're always 10, 15 years ahead of us in things like this, and some of the dramatic things that's taken place when these kids do this at such a young age.
Yeah, and of course, we offer to Marcus Venable a chance to come on our program. It's always been our fair nature that whoever would like to come on the program, we'd like to have you on. So we'd love to hear from you and create our own questions for you as to why this message was delivered in the way it was delivered, because obviously it's a passion-filled issue to begin with, but you would almost think that I know it opened a lot of eyes to people going, wow, who's teaching our children?
Yeah, I mean, in these things, and like I said many a times, we need to learn to agree to disagree. You know, we all got our own opinion, we got our own beliefs, and what we think strongly about, no matter how emotional we get, we shouldn't take it out on the person who we're going against in any kind of way. We need to just compromise. A lot of things, that's how the system works, is people compromise and you get some things passed and some things you don't.
And doesn't this, in Louisiana for sure, we have a very conservative nature. I mean, we see that in every presidential race and everything that goes on. And for people who are teaching their children all through life about, what their beliefs are. And then I think the big thing that everybody's arguing about, you get to these universities and one person or a group of people that sort of want to change your whole idea of how you were brought up. Is that where a lot of the contention comes in?
Oh, it's a great deal. I mean, I hear it left and right, especially throughout all, not just state of Louisiana universities, but all over the country, is that that the conservative values are no longer heard and cannot be spoken. And you can see that canceling conservative speaking at universities across the nation. We're just going in a direction that we need to correct. And all I did was make sure this bill got, and it got killed in committee. I got it revived and got it passed because that's what the people wanted. I mean, that's just how it is.
Did it stop with that message, or did you get more threats, or did you get more support? This went on a national conservative TV talk show. What happened after that?
Well, actually, somebody slipped the thing on Twitter, and there's been 4,700,000 views that I saw so far. And out of that, if you want a true poll of conservatives versus this situation, only about 9,800 likes of what he said out of 4,700,000. So, that kind of tells you where the country's at in that stance. Because, I mean, we got age limits for children, even all driving, drinking, everything. Why not, before they change, their individualism? It just doesn't make any sense till they grow up.
Just real quick, did you ever think when you were elected senator, I know it was a possibility to get issues like this, but did you ever think you would be getting a phone message like you got?
No, I didn't. Let's back up even a few more years. I never would have thought I would have had to pass legislation
Very true.
like this is, according to what we're, how we're living today. I mean, that's why, on the Senate floor, I held up my phone and said, 20 years ago, this wouldn't be an issue. And this has got a lot to do with it. The cell phone's got a lot to do with it, because these kids are thinking that they can change their life over people saying how great it is.
Yeah. And I know the obvious thing, real quick, with 40 seconds left, is to react. Did you reach out to Mr. Venable, or you just let it?
I just let it go. All I did is, hearing that, I called Tim up, our sheriff, and he told me to get with the state police. Got with the state police, and they took it from there. And between that and LSU, I've let them do everything they need to do, because that's their position. I'm here just to make sure I get laws that we need to save our community.
All right. Senator Mike Fesi, thank you as always. We appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll see you on regular terms.
Okay.
All right. Thank you once again. Senator Mike Fesi, we'll see you right around the break. Don't go away.